something that suddenly entered your awareness, just something that all of a sudden you realize, something you know. How did that show up? What was that? If you didn't write it down, I promise you within a few minutes, you're going to forget it. And you're going to forget it ever came through. These are things that are really important to piece your life together. All right. Writing all this down will awaken you almost by accident. Okay, Ray. Now, Ray, let me ask you something because I can't help but butt in.
Oh, it's your show, hon.
Is it playing live on YouTube? We have to find out
It,
if it's doing that.
it certainly looks like it. It says it's streaming on all of them.
Okay, well, I just wanted to see. Could you go to the
Let's
website?
go over
I'm
here
going
to
to
Central Command.
pester you, and it's something I have to see, you guys. I work really hard on getting this stuff set up and actually making it work. And I really need to see if it's sitting in the featured window. Okay, so we're going to get into this whole thing in just a minute here. Let Ray do this. There we are in the feature
There
window.
you are.
Okay.
You're featured right in that feature window.
Make sure the sound is off on the computer.
It's off.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, Ray, what do we have and who's with us tonight?
Well, let's go back to Facebook. And people are starting to come in on YouTube. On Facebook, we have Nancy Schaefer,
Great, Nancy.
Kelly Jesse. Hello, Kelly. I think Kelly's new. Welcome.
Great, Kelly.
Marianne, she's with us every week.
Great.
Hi, Marianne. And Nancy Schaefer says hi, Ray and Linda. And over here in Mexico is Linda Schwartz.
Very good, you guys. Okay. We want your questions or comments or both about what story will you tell? Okay, Ray, what do you have there? Ray,
Yeah,
Ray always does some research.
We
on
didn't
this
get any
stuff.
comments, so I had to do some extra work here. What happened? Usually we get some comments, but
Yeah.
I think everybody's out at the casinos already that are opening up,
Ray,
playing the nickel slots.
I don't know, Ray.
And,
Our people don't do that.
it's amazing how comfortable I've gotten not going anywhere.
You know, Ray and I, because of the nature of what we do and how long we've been doing it, okay, Guided was published in 2014. We've been working like a couple of we've been working madly, just really working all the time on the project, okay, keeping up with the coaching sessions, answering fan mail, doing these insights.
5 books.
Writing 5 books. Yeah, there's been so much to this, okay? And then all the interviews I do and the events and webinars and stuff, everything, okay? It's grown over the years and the demand for it has increased. And more people want to know how to make this connection with their spirit guides and angels and light beings, you know? I mean, I call them my spirit guides and angels, but you guys, these are light beings. This is guidance from other dimensions that come to me and have always come to me that are there just exactly when I need them. And this one about what story will you tell from this time in history, from just the last, this started about the middle of March. So about 2 months now that everybody has felt it.
It's been like 55 days or something.
In Northern America, at least in Northern America.
Uh-huh.
And it's a perfect time. I mean, I've talked about this before. The companion journal to Guided. This is the companion journal to my flagship book, Guided. This is how I did it. It's my memoir, my autobiography about how I lived my whole life having this advantage, this guidance. Okay. And what story will you tell? I know about writing this story because I did it. Okay. This is how you do it right here. And really where you really you get into where you are, just where you get into the areas where I went when I wrote Guided. Guided is a really transparent book. I told it like it happened. I told it, okay, even when it wasn't easy for me to be that transparent. I had to do it. The guides insisted on that, all right? This is what you need to be doing. No one's going to see it, okay? In my case, the whole world saw it. But this is not something you're going to publish. This is for you to understand yourself better and what really happened in your life. What's really going on? What's happened in the last 2 weeks of your life? Everybody has had something happen that's exceptional to you, something you realize, something that's valuable to your to yourself first, and then to your to your family members, and maybe even to the world, you know? Yeah,
We've never had an opportunity like that. We've never had a situation like this
we
where
haven't.
everybody was under lockdown in the world, or in the country. And
And you guys, we're going to have a webinar at the end of this month on May 30th. It's going to be Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And it's called A Message from the Light Beings, the State of the World as We See It. That's the light beings. And they're going to tell you what's really going on right now. Now, what would really be helpful is if you already wrote down what's going on with you since this all happened, since all this went down. So that if you attended the webinar, you can interface it with what they're going to talk about in this webinar on May 30th and see how you align with what's really going on, with what they see. You know, we can't see it when we're in it, you guys. I talk about that all through Guided. That's why I started journal writing when I was 7 years old. So I could begin to purge on the pages what's going on. So I could then, once I wrote it down, I could then go back and look at it and really understand what was going on in my life. Okay. So not only could I survive it because it was a horrible childhood, but I could understand myself better and be better from it and have a stronger connection to my guides, to those who followed me here, just like all of you. Go ahead, Ray. What do you have?
I think the light beings, I predict that they're going to do more prediction-like things.
They are.
Rather than just teach a lesson.
Yeah, that is exactly right. They came through, in fact.
Was it last weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the little video ad. Look for it.
Yeah.
I was a little too tired to do it today, but I'll have it done by the weekend, and I'm going to put it out there on the Facebook and everything, and on the homepage of lindadeer.com. And you're going to see the video ad, and we channel the information from the guides this time. It's different than the ones we've done before, like Ray just said. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Ray.
who do we have? That famous artist from the cold white north, Jay Handy.
Jay, we love Jay.
And Rebecca from the Netherlands.
Rebecca.
She's up late.
She is up late. Dedicated
and,
Rebecca.
Marla Martinson. Hi,
Marla. We love Marla.
We do love Marla.
Okay, Marla.
Okay. So I left off where we didn't get any comments. So
yeah, and can I interrupt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what story will you tell from this whole thing that's gone on in the last 2 months in your life? This is what we want to hear from you guys. If you have something you've written down, if you've been writing some things down about what's been going on, what your story is, what's interesting, out of the ordinary, unusual, what came into your mind that you didn't know before, that you know now, that you have now. We want to hear it, okay? We want you guys to write it in the stream so we can have your guides talk to you about what that is.
yeah,
okay?
What new talents have you discovered that you have?
That's part of it, but it may not just be talents. It may be something that you realize that you didn't know before, okay? It may be something that's amazing, or something that you need to change, that's hurtful, that you will not put up with anymore. We want to hear about what it is, and then your guides are going to speak to you about it, okay?
Great.
So please bring your questions in. Ray, what do you have?
Well, I went out, since I didn't have any
Comments.
kind of research to do on what they're going to talk about today, but when it said, what story will you tell? I thought about people writing their own stories. And
right.
So I went out and I found some quotes about people,
I love Ray.
Famous people,
I love how
not famous people.
Yeah, Ray takes the left brain part of this and brings it in. I like that. It's great.
All right. So here's a good quote about writing your own story. When you don't write your story, all that's left are assumptions.
Right. Okay. Keep going, Ray. I've got some ideas about that.
But when you do write your story, you can write a brave new ending.
Ooh.
That kind of reminds me of people going to like a funeral, to a wake, and they're up there talking about whoever died, and you're sitting in the audience and you go, wow, I never knew that about him, or really, he wasn't like that at all. They make stuff up, assumptions.
Well, they only know little tiny bits and pieces about you. They don't know about when I wrote Guided. I'll tell you, I never told anybody about any of this. Okay. But when I wrote Guided, people were like, Linda, I thought I knew you. I did not know you, but they know me now and they follow me and they really enjoy this. Okay. And they're learning about themselves because of it. Okay. So that's the part where you could actually make an impact on the world. Okay. When you do share, but you've got to realize what it was first. You've got to lay it down on those pages so you can take and look back at it. And then the next day, write for 15 minutes the next day about what seems so interesting. It might even be something you saw on the news and you go, you know what? That doesn't make any sense. That's not how I see it, or that's not how I feel about it. And here's why. And you write it in here, and then you write down the next question is how that makes you feel. What you saw, what on the news or something, and how you feel about it goes right here. And then what you realize from what you heard versus what you know to be true in yourself, and then you can see how you can move forward, take the action. That's the fourth question. You guys, you can't take action on anything consciously until you have a realization. Okay. And you've got to write it down first and ask and answer the question about how it feels to have that realization. Okay. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, Marla says she realized that she is responsible for her own sanity. She's now so grounded and stopped bickering with her hubby as that was making her physically ill.
Oh, Marla, that's a big one. You guys, that's a big one.
Yeah, this is the first time husband and wife were both home from work all the time.
Let's let the guides. Okay, read that one more time.
Okay, she realized that she's responsible for her own sanity. I am now so grounded and stopped bickering with my hubby as that was making me physically ill.
Physically ill. Now, you guys, that would eventually work against Marla if Marla didn't catch it. All right. Let's let her guides respond to what she said. Perfect, Marla. Oh.
Hello, Marla. We come in truth and love. It's a new experience for two people who may have been together a long time when they are stuck in the house 24/7 with each other and can't go anywhere. It's a test of not only your ability to remain sane, like you said, but it's also a test of a person's resilience and adaptability in the face of close confrontation. You learn much about a person that you thought you knew everything about. After this is over and a somewhat routine comes back, the tension will cease. And what you learned from each other and about each other will be the next chapter of your story.
Whatever you do, write it down, Marla, as you're moving through it. You know, what happens is, for Ray and I'll just use us for a moment as a baseline, okay? We've been together all the 24/7 for years and years, and we haven't gone out to eat, we haven't gone to the movies, and we haven't traveled anywhere, literally. I mean, how many years now have we been doing this, Ray?
Well, we've been together 16 years, but I'd say since the last 10 or 12 years, we've been together all the time, working together 7 days a week. And when we say we don't go out to eat, we do not go out to eat. Ever.
We never do.
We don't go shopping other than
on
the internet.
Ray catches everything we need, and he's done this for years, where he just Amazon Prime, okay?
Yeah.
He gets everything right off the internet when we need it, and he gets better pricing, better quality, better, okay.
And I found out they deliver groceries to your house.
Right.
So we're trying them all out there.
And so we've been so busy with the project that we found that was just more convenient for us. And we really just didn't care about going places, you guys. We really just didn't care about it. It took up our time. I was always thinking about, how much email am I going to come back to? I don't want it to pile up on me, because we've been very busy. All right. So how do you describe us?
Busy.
Well, no, as far as getting along. Sometimes, okay, because we both work on this project together, we both have a great deal of passion about it. All right. So I'll come to Ray and I'll say, just like I've always done, even before this thing hit, I'd say, Ray, I know this is what we need to do. And he'd look at me and he goes, don't tell me that you know what we need to do. Okay. And I'd go, oh man. Okay. So I'd catch myself and I might pout for 5 minutes. We're human, you guys. And then I'm back because this is my best friend right here. That's what I've learned from being around him all the time. I've never been around anybody where I liked him. I liked being around them all the time. So what happens is you learn about, before you could just take off and, your husband could go to work and where he works and you go to work where you work and you only had to put up with each other. Doesn't that sound terrible? Put up with
before and after work.
Yeah, pretty much. And now, it's just like, it tests you, like the guide said in Marla's situation. It tests you so that you can really define what is important to you. When you're in a relationship with somebody, it's about cooperation. It's not about compromise. Really, it's not. It's about cooperating with each other. And the other person's going to bring up the things that your shortcomings, because you're kind of a pain in the ass if you keep putting it on them. And they're like, stop it, get over it, fix it. It's not my problem, it's your problem. Fix the bloody thing, and then you're stuck with yourself. You're like, I've got nowhere to go. I can't, go out the door and drive down the street and, meet with my girlfriends and talk about my husband. He said this to me and he said that. There's none of that. Okay. It's time to grow up. It's time to face yourself. And that's really what this is all about. And writing it down, you guys, when you write it down, I cannot tell you how important that is. 15 minutes a day. It might be a great big giant in the beginning, telling on yourself, because, when we let this stuff pile up and we get these bad habits that continue to show up and nobody calls us on it, okay, and then we become kind of a pain in the neck. You gotta tell on yourself so you can start cleaning it up, because you don't like it. It doesn't feel good to you,
Lest we have your followers think that we don't have fun. When we say we don't go out to eat, well, we don't go out to eat, not because we just don't want to go spend the money. Well, that's part of it, but it
has been because we've been lean.
Yeah, we eat better food at home.
You guys, I got to tell you that we've been guided to do exactly what we're doing, what we find ourselves doing. And then this whole pandemic went down and the shelter in place. It has been absolutely no sweat for us because we already followed the guidance. They already positioned us this way. So it was no big deal when it went down. you know?
In fact, when we tell people, no, we don't go out to dinner, we don't go to the movies, there's reasons why we don't want to do that. That the food's not good, it's expensive, the service is terrible, and then they want to tip and
And they feed too much food to
feed
you.
you
and
too much
everything.
food,
Yeah.
it's low quality food. I mean, we stay home, we eat good food, we eat organic, all organic, we
only eat what we need.
right, we cook it ourselves.
Ray lost 35 pounds, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, you know? So you're healthier.
Right.
All right.
Now, I mean, when we tell people, they don't have a concept of when we tell people, like the neighbors, we don't, have you tried this restaurant? Have you gone here? Have you gone there? Have you seen this? No, we haven't. We don't go anywhere. When I was doing our taxes for last year,
This is amazing.
this is how not going anywhere
We mean.
I was doing our taxes for last year and totaling up our gasoline bill for the car.
For the car.
For the entire year, we spent $194 on gasoline for the entire year.
So we're not kidding,
Right.
you know? Yeah. This is it's a trip.
We put
Okay.
gas in our car, about $25 worth of gas about every 2.5 months.
So where are we going with this?
Well, we have another comment.
Okay.
A good one from Rebecca. Rebecca says, I realized that before the coronavirus, I was running around doing too many things in a typical week. I was always on the go. I was not being present in my life or enjoying my time with the children and my husband. Now I am. I have also become quite the awesome homeschool teacher. Yes. And
She is too. I know she is.
a way better cook. See what I'm saying? My home is happier. I'm happier. I'm calmer.
Calmer.
I'm more awake, and I'm looking forward to staying on the path.
Okay, now let's let Rebecca's guides talk to her about her situation. These are Rebecca's guides, okay? About what she just said.
Rebecca, we have given you the opportunity to avoid much stress that was hurting you before. Becoming a better cook and a better homeschool teacher is not as important as becoming a better person. It's the interaction with your family that has benefited everyone, and they will remember this time forever.
Write it down, Rebecca. Because as we move along, you know, life continues to happen for us all, right, you guys? And we want to catch ourselves. The reason you write it down, you want to have a point of reference to go back to. When you do feel yourself kind of drifting off the path a little bit, just go, oh, what am I doing? I don't feel like myself, you know? And you look back at what you wrote, what you've been writing, and go, okay, I got it. I know what I need to do. I got it. Okay, that's why you need to write it down. And this becomes what your story is. This is the story that you tell. In other words, when your kids grow up and they go, Mom, what was that like? That let's see what they'll call it. That depression or that what else would
The
they call it?
plague, the
what?
virus.
Oh, the plague.
Yeah, it's
That
like living through the Black
that
Plague.
happened. Okay, and you're going to write a story that's way different than what the media told. The
Yeah.
media, oh, you know, it'll be so different. Okay.
It will be so different.
Yeah. So what else do we have, Ray?
We have some more people coming in watching. Oh, here's one here. Linda Schwartz says she realized she's so grateful for the commitment to be able to write her book, as it has been training me to be alone more comfortably than I ever thought possible. Yeah. It really, I mean, we're both writers.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of writing.
Oh man,
I mean,
you've been doing a lot of writing in your business.
right. I revived my old business.
Right.
You know, I found time to do that, you know.
Right.
And it's fun. I mean, I'm helping a lot of people.
Yeah, it's great.
I learned a new skill. I learned how to cut my own hair.
Well,
I mean-
he cuts the front
And the top.
And the top,
And the
he
sides.
does. And I come around the back and I give it the treatment. in the
Yeah,
back.
well, it's not like when I cut it when I
Ray,
was 5 years old.
It's beautiful.
Here, let's see.
Look at this haircut, you guys. This is a Ray Hawley haircut. Wow, Ray. And you know what, you guys, this is really funny. Ponytails are great under these conditions.
That's
All I
right.
have to do is trim my bangs. Well, I need my hair dropped down so Ray can trim off the back a little bit. But my hair has gotten really long, right? And I know yours has too, Rebecca. And so has yours, Linda Schwartz. But
So is yours, Jay.
Ponytails, they don't require anybody to cut your hair or mess with your hair. You can handle that all by yourself. So I see the return of the ponytail.
Well, yeah, look at all the money you save by not having to get your hair cut all the time.
And it's easier to take care of. It's totally easier. Yeah.
And a lot of these companies, like Twitter said today, they're going to let their people work from home forever.
Yeah, they put that out on the news today.
Please stay home.
They said you can all work from home from now on for the rest of forever.
Right. So what does that do for you? It saves you driving an hour or more each way back and forth to work, wasting 2 or 3 hours a day, having have nice clothes. You got to have sharp clothes.
And you want to be writing these things down. This is what happened. I'll tell you, it's like a dream. You have a dream, and if you don't write the dream down, you forgot it halfway through the day. You're like, oh, I wish I wrote that down. And writing the dreams down and daisy chaining them together, that was Monday, that was Tuesday, that was Wednesday. And then you see how they're all speaking to you. That's how you figure out what's really going on. Okay. So what else do we have?
All right. Well, we got some more quotes to talk about here.
I love it, Ray.
All right. So, writing your own story. It's your novel. Start at chapter 1 and write your truth.
Write your truth. That's why in this little book here, My Guided Journey, so I always tell people to start in part 3. That's the journal writing. Okay. But once you write in part 3 long enough, you're going to see patterns. You're going to see what you keep doing and what you keep repeating and what's something that you keep working on. You keep figuring out, it keeps haunting you. Okay. Something that keeps coming up. Okay. That's where you go back once you identify it and you've written it down enough times in part 3, each day for 15 minutes, each journal entry. Then you go to part 2 and you find the chapter. There's 18 chapters in part 2. You find the chapter that's blaring at you and go, oh, that's me. That's me when I became cautious. Okay, that would be, this one here is chapter 8. When you became cautious, that would be like one where every time something happens, you might recoil. You might be the one that gets quiet, silent, or go away.
Stop talking.
And stop talking, and you tone it down because you don't want to be pulled into it. You become cautious because you don't want them to pull you in. Okay, whatever it is, or compromise, or rebellion, or fear, or not asking, forgetting to ask your guides, ask them for help because they're there to help you. They followed you into this life. So and it's their job to help you 24/7. It's no sweat for them. Okay, they expect you to ask. You made this agreement before you came here. You just forgot. All right. That amnesia. Okay.
All right. No questions or comments. So I will continue with some more fabulous. I'm saving the best ones to last too.
Well, I like these.
But this one, I thought this one was kind of cute. Until a lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter.
Ooh. Until the lion
learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter.
Okay, so you guys see that, you get that. In other words, you don't need somebody telling your story for you, interpreting you. No way. They'll never interpret me after writing guided. It's impossible. All right. Writing, what story will you tell? Write your own story. This, in fact, in this book at the very front, it says my guided journey. And then it says legacy whoops, where am I? Legacy 2. So who will be the one that when at some point in your life, when it's time for you to move on to higher ground, okay, who's going to benefit from this? Who's going to read this that you will leave this for, that needed to know about you because they idolized you, because they didn't like you, because it could be one way or the other. They misinterpreted you, okay? This will clean up all that. This will clear all that up. This isn't so much your story, but it's your path. It's your journey and how you got there. It's how you learned to discover yourself. It's how you realized you needed to do some work in here and you've performed on it. How could they not respect that, you guys?
Yeah, it's just not something you want to push on everybody, you
No.
know, but it's something
It's a
that
private thing.
it's something that if you leave this to your kids or you know your best friend after you cross over, they're going to learn a lot of things about you. I mean, look at after you wrote Guided, how the people who knew you for 20 years or more up in Sedona, who knew you
They were
from your
speechless.
professional life only, and they thought they knew you, couldn't believe it.
And they prejudged me. A lot of the people in Sedona prejudged me, and they felt bad about it after they read Guided. Okay, that's your story. You need to clean it up so nobody can what's the word for it? No one can give you a black eye at any point along your journey, or when after you're gone. Okay, you need to have written something that keeps them from doing that. Okay, and keeps the story clear and clean.
Yeah, that goes back to the first quote that he talked about. If you don't write your story, all they have is assumptions about you.
And so, what was that last one you just read about the
last
lions?
one, the lion.
I love that
Until
one.
a lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter.
So don't leave it up to the hunter to tell your story. Okay, don't let that happen. Okay.
All right, here's my favorite. You can change your future by writing about your past. That's by a very famous writer, Ray Holly. You can change your future by writing about your past.
You know what? Okay, let me just say this. This is the journal writing book. This is just for journal writing, all right? This is part 3 of the journal writing system. And it says right here, your roadmap to consciousness, right here. What's
Yeah,
wrong?
you're too close. You got a lot of noise coming out.
Okay, your roadmap to consciousness. Okay, that's because I don't have my light on. All right.
There you go. There's the star.
There's 4 lights that we have on the set, and there was only 3 on. All right.
Lightman's fired.
Until you're conscious about you, okay, your life is going to be a mishmash of out of context, out of just kind of like all over the place. Well, I don't know. It was kind of like this. It was like that. And then it's left up to the lion, to the hunter, to tell your story, for everyone else to tell your story and interpret you. No, but you've got to become conscious of yourself first. That's where the journal writing comes in. Once you do this every day, and you do this every day for 15 minutes, you guys are going to, within 1 month of doing it, if you do it every day, you're going to be really surprised.
You'll be amazed how interesting you are.
Yeah, because this journal writing isn't just writing on a piece of paper. It's writing down what you're realizing, and then it's writing down what you feel about what you are writing down, and then what you realize from what you felt now that you wrote it down, so you can take an action that will be a game changer in your life. All right.
All right, we got one more here. If you want to have a good rest of your life,
yep,
write about all the great things you haven't done yet, so you don't forget to do them.
That would be a very important thing to write into the journal writing part. The journal writing part.
What are the great things that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
Yeah, you need to write it all down so you don't forget to do them. Okay, you guys, it's a matter of being conscious and remembering, but you can't remember it all. Life comes through in it like a train. It runs through your life. You're like, wow, you know, like what happened recently. So where did I leave off? What is it I wanted to do? Why, who am I and why am I here? Okay. What's my purpose? What the heck is going on here? What's important to me? And who am I really?
You knew who you were and what your purpose was in coming here before you got here. Now, with the amnesia, you just have to remember who you are and why you came here.
Yeah. If you don't become conscious of your life, you don't start writing down what's 15 minutes a day, it's no sweat. You guys can do this. And you do this and you keep, I want you to know, I want you guys to keep this private. This is for your eyes only. Keep it to yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're going to write like you're writing to the person who might pick it up. So you're going to start fudging and you're going to start not telling the full truth. And you got to tell it. You got to bleed on these pages sometimes. You cannot risk anyone looking at it. So this goes in the safest place you can find. This is nobody's business but your own. And you'll be writing book after book after book. You'll be filling these up and filling these up and filling these up until you can really get a grip on yourself. Dreams go in here.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. All those insights in the shower, bam, that came through. That insight, that realization, that answer, that thing you've almost forgot to do. Write it in here, because what it's doing is it's waking you up so that eventually what will happen, the 4 qualifying questions in these books, write it down, what you felt, and then what you realized from what you felt, and the action, the power you have to move on it now, okay, is going to come alive inside you, so that anytime you meet somebody, let's say you just meet somebody new, what did you realize? What is it you wrote down? Or if you had the book in your hand at that point, what would you have written down about that encounter with that person? How did that encounter with that person make you feel? And what did you realize? Okay, now what action are you going to take? Are you going to move past that person because they don't fit in your life? Or is that person going to make a big impact on you going forward? Is there something there you would have missed if you hadn't asked yourself those 4 qualifying questions? What I'm trying to say, after a while, using the journal is always going to be important. But in your day-to-day life, you're going to run yourself through this process. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, you're going to have it every single time. And you're going to do it quietly, and you're going to do it within yourself, and you're going to have so much more to work with than you used to have. You're going to tell yourself, you're going to tell yourself the truth. You guys, a lot of times you're not used to telling yourself the truth. You don't want to tell yourself the truth. Oh my God, that might bring up things about this person that I wanted the relationship. I really wanted it, but it's not right for you. It's not working for you. You're with the wrong person. Okay, that you got to be able to handle the truth too. The truth. I'm with the right person. Oh my God, I can't believe it. After all the wrong people I've picked, I'm with the right one. I really am. Am I sure? Okay, keep writing in your journal. Keep asking yourself those questions, running it through, and you're going to find out what you're doing is you are cleaning up your act.
You're going through the process of self-realization.
You're cleaning up your act. You're not, it's not their fault. They just came into your life, but they're only there for a few minutes and off they go. You never see them again. This is you about you cleaning up your life so that you can become a better barometer, a better guide for yourself. You can hear your guides better. You're more present. You're more capable. You are more powerful. I mean, like you've never been before. Okay. But these 4 qualifying questions are going to come alive inside you, and it'll be like, bam, 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 bam. I got it. Bam, 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 bam. I got it. Bam, 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 bam. I got it. You're going to be like, just like that. You're going to have it. And you're going to be awake. You're going to be conscious, and you're going to be so alive. You will not It's not like you won't tolerate the wrong people in your life. They won't even get into your life. All right. They won't even have a chance to slip in with that kind of discipline. All right.
Those questions seem to funnel out all the agendas people try
You see
to
right
push
through
on
it.
you.
You see right through it because what you're focused on being present. You're clearing up your consciousness. It's like having the flu. Okay, you got to get over the flu, this congestion and all this, confusion and all this, pulling you down. You've got to be working optimally, okay, to be doing this. You've got to be present to be doing this. Like I'm talking about, bam, 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 bam. Okay, and you just get good at it. You see right through everybody's stuff, all right? And you have the right people in your life. You won't have as many people in your life because it was bloat, okay? Really, we have a lot of people in our life that really shouldn't have been there, taking up our time and wasting our time. And we try to get them to like us, and they don't like you, okay? So give up on that if they don't like you. You like you. That's what you're going to clean up.
Right.
All right.
Okay, there was one here, that one last one I had scribbled at the bottom here, which is, it's by Philip Roth, who's a famous author who I've never read any of his books.
Oh,
I guess he's a famous author. He's famous enough to get a quote in this book.
yeah, and have Ray Holly
And then
read
have
it.
Ray Holly read it to all of your fans. And this pertains to everybody who says they want to write a book, who says they're writing a book. They've been writing a book for 20 years,
Yeah.
like some of these authors we see and we meet. The road to hell is paved with works in progress.
Oh. And you know what, you guys, you know, leaning into your defense on this one, this is just where, this process will just get you right through it. And you don't have to worry about what people think about you. And that's really what it is. Or the way that we're raised. We know a guy, he is brilliant. I mean, he's truly brilliant. And he was so overeducated that he is so intimidated about never being good enough. He's writing a novel and he struggles with it. He's rewritten it many times and he's been doing it for, he did it. He was working on it before Guided was published.
So he's probably 6 years,
Yeah.
7 years.
And he's still struggling with it. And that's because he let someone along the way, he didn't catch it. Okay. Those 4 qualifying questions, he didn't catch it at the time it showed up. He didn't catch it. Okay. What happened? How did it feel? What did he realize? Now, what action is he going to take? Okay. He would have been empowered, not disempowered from it.
People who are writing something, or a piece of music, a book, anything, and they keep rewriting it and putting it out there, and most of the time they're afraid that somebody's going to criticize
Yes, exactly. Okay, here's another barometer. You guys, you got to be real with yourself. You got to tell yourself the truth. I'm going to lay something on you. If you're one of these people that feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet, or oh, I've got to do it over again. I've got to. Okay, here's what you did, and I guarantee you did this. You've been the critic. You've been the one criticizing everybody else's work for years.
Yeah.
And what's going on? I just want you to observe. When you point the finger at somebody, do you see how many fingers are pointing back at you? There's 3 of them pointing back at you while you're criticizing somebody else, okay? Critiquing them or laughing at them or whatever.
That's what you have to heal.
That's what has to be healed. That's where you hung up yourself, okay? So if you catch yourself critiquing, criticizing, condemning, blaming, whatever it happens to be, somebody else, please write in your journal, in the journal writing part in part 3, tell yourself what you did. You're just going to see this. Tell yourself what happened, how it made you feel. Sometimes you might write in there, made me feel really good. I liked that person being in pain, or I liked feeling like, I don't like that person, so I liked doing it. That's not going to help you, but you got to write it down so you can see what's going on in here. It's in here. Okay. And then you realize, oh my God, Linda was right. Here I am doing this, and I've got three fingers pointing back at me. The healing needs to happen here. So what the heck is going on inside of me that causes me to do this with other people? Now, these other people may never know that you thought those thoughts about them. They may never know, but the damage was done to you just by thinking it.
Right.
So it's a healing process. We got to heal it, you guys. And then when you see something, let's say you see something, somebody wrote something and it was horribly written. How would you respond differently than critiquing them or criticizing them or laughing at them or any of that? How would you do that? How would you handle that differently? You've got to write it down. I read their blog posts. Let's say that. I'm going to throw something out there just for fun. I read their blog post. It was very hard to follow because it was not well written. Okay, something like that. And keep it clean. In other words, don't attack the person. And then when you lay it down on the page about what it is you observed, about what you read and what you noticed about what you read, then ask yourself about what you wrote down, how that makes you feel, what you wrote down in the way that it happened, not where you criticize what the person was a jerk. How could they? This would be the worst thing you could do. The person was a jerk. How could they ever publish that? Don't they see how awful that is? No, that's not the right thing to write down. The right thing to write down is, because you could do that. That could have been you. Okay. So it's just a matter of them having a little bit more education about how to write. Maybe if you look at that and you say, if that was me, what I would have done, how does it make me feel? What I would have done is I would see that I need to take some classes on writing. I need to learn some public speaking. Some of it might be public speaking that their writing was about. I need to learn how to lay down a blog post that's easy to read, not one that's just all copy with no breaks and no paragraphs and no nothing. Okay, I hated reading it. It drove me crazy. Okay, just write down what you would do for yourself and without being critical. Okay, that's the whole point. Treat it like you wrote it. Here's the only way to describe it. Write about what they wrote like as if you wrote it and you went, oh my God. Okay, I got to write down where I see the errors, I see the failure, I see the misfortune here. And then how that makes me feel. Do I feel embarrassed? Do I feel like I was holding back? I was so busy holding back, being transparent, that I wrote something that had no power in it because I was scared to death to tell the truth. Okay, maybe that person was just hiding and covering everything up and they weren't really spilling the beans. I mean, we read something, we take the time to read it. Give me something juicy. I want to read something that's going to change my life. I need something that's going to help me. Okay, is that what they were missing? Okay, write down what that is, because when you see what it is, that's what you would have done. That's how, especially when you're focused on how poor it was, that could be you, where you would have failed. And that's why you never did start writing a blog. That's why you never did publish that book. Okay, so you've got to identify what the heck is going on in you, so then you're free again. You get out of your own jail. Yeah. This writing thing is amazing, you guys.
Nobody chooses to be a writer for their career.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard. When I wrote Guided, I'll tell you, when I wrote Guided, I didn't think about what anybody thought of me. I just started writing the book. And I had everyone telling me, you've got to read all these books before you do it. You got to learn to be a writer, Linda. You got to learn to do all this. I didn't listen. The guide said, no, just start writing, Linda. We'll handle it. Okay. And I mean, I just wrote it, and it was the first draft, freaking crude. It was fine, okay. And I got a great editor and somebody with construction around writing. There's not just editing, you guys. There's construction around writing, how you construct it, and this goes before this, and so it all works together. So I needed some help with that, and so my editor cost me a little more money than I might have thought, but he saved my butt. So what you do is you just don't worry about it. I didn't worry about it. It was the story that was important.
Right. Write your truth.
Write your truth.
Just like that first quote.
Yeah. Write your truth.
Yeah. And remember, there's never, ever been anywhere in the world a statue erected to a critic.
So you guys are going to look back at your life and go, how much have I criticized? How much have I been, that way with other people and quick to judge them? How much of that have I done? When you start writing, doing your journal writing, the journal writing part in part 3, you're going to start to see it. And you're going to go, ew, yuck. But then at least you purged it on the pages. You can see what you're doing, and you won't trip over that trip wire next time. Or before you go to trip over it, act out like that again and jump to conclusions and judge and everything. You're going to go, no, 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 no. I need to stay conscious so I can be present, so I can pull this off. Okay. So I can be fully myself instead of bottled up with, all this confusion that we do to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. It's time to unravel all that.
Most writers and musicians, especially musicians, go through their life. Famous musicians go through their lives thinking that they're not that good.
Oh, who was the big one? Wes Montgomery.
Wes Montgomery. He never thought he was a good guitar player.
Oh, man.
And he was the greatest in the world.
He died feeling that way.
Yes.
So tell me about that. So I will guarantee you this: Wes Montgomery, a famous guy, a brilliant musician, like Ray's talking about. He criticized the other musicians.
Yeah.
He criticized them. He critiqued them to work out his craft, but it worked against him.
Yeah.
Okay. He could never find happiness in himself, in his art, because he was too busy criticizing everybody else. This is not the life we came here to live, you guys. We didn't come here to live like that. It's time to let that go. All right. Okay. So Ray, do we have anything else?
No more questions. I have some people came in last time, but don't forget you can watch the replay if you came in at the end.
And we're gonna do the closing message with the spirit guides tonight about tonight's session. What story will you tell? Okay, but I've got a few announcements before I do that. So here I go. Join me next Tuesday, May 19th. I will be streaming live on my Facebook page, on my timeline, and on my YouTube channel, just like tonight. Use the search term Linda Deer to find me. This will be a Q&A and commentary for next Tuesday night's Insight, published in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, my spirit guides, and Ray at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about the immune system starts in your head. Think about how your health is right now. Is it better or worse than it was 5 years ago? Most likely, your answer will be not as good. What must you do to examine your thoughts? What went through your head in those 5 years? Were you allowing a boss who you couldn't stand to distort your value to the workplace and even to yourself? Were you working at a job you hated? How do you think that affected your health? So when they talk about this coronavirus and all this kind of stuff, you guys, it's an immune system thing. It's really about how strong your immune system is. And a lot of people think, well, if I eat right, I get enough sleep, I take vitamins, I exercise, that'll be all I need to do. It's important that you do those things. Okay, organic food and stuff. But if what's going on in your head is wrecking all that like a wrecking ball, after everything you do, the stuff going on in your head is working against you, it's not healthy, that your thoughts aren't healthy, then your immune system is going to be affected by that, probably more than anything else, where you drag yourself down. I can't say it enough. Part 3, write down the things that are distortions that are going on in your head, because you can't fix them until you see them on the pages. But when you see them on the pages and you ask yourself those four questions, write it down, how it felt, what you realize, and the action you're going to take, only then do you have power over it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep, you're going to be like the pinball in a pinball machine. You pull back and you let that thing go and it just goes all over the place. You're still going to be a pinball. So don't let it happen anymore. Stop it. Okay, so, and be sure to sign up for Linda's weekly guided insights. It's right there in the description of the video if you haven't already signed up for it. So this Thursday, May 14th, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be live on our Facebook private group, Ask the Universal Channel. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will be performing the following. Kathy's spirit guides. My spirit guides would like to talk about how people, my guides will talk about, want to talk about to the people about an awesome job they are doing during this pandemic. Okay, so the guides want to talk about how well you're doing with this, okay? And Joy, my spirit guides, want me to ask how you can be responsible during this interim and how it will affect all. That's a good one. How to be responsible. That ties into Marla's question, not question, but her comment about her situation with her husband and how she's raising the bar for herself. All right. That's the whole point. The only thing you control is yourself, you guys. And if you don't take responsibility for yourself and you keep pushing it off onto other people, then it's somebody else's problem. So you never fix it, And then Veronica, my spirit guides would like me to ask, why are about faces, turnarounds, great opportunities? So turning your life around pretty much is what she's talking about there. And last but not least, if Tuesdays, if my work, if my books, these insights that we do, the webinars that we do, if my work helps you in any way, tell your friends about what we do. Let them know about us so they can join in and experience this, okay? And now the spirit guides are going to close this session about what story will you tell, okay? And here they go.
We see that there are only 3 reasons to write. One is to expose a great lie. The second is to draw attention to an important truth. And 3, to spread love around the world.
Because once you do those first 2 things, you've got the capacity to really love someone else. When you do this work, what you're going to realize is this is what loving yourself is really all about. You can't help. It's not something you do to achieve loving yourself. Loving yourself becomes a byproduct of taking the action, of becoming conscious. What is they said, the lie and the
expose a great lie bring attention to an important truth.
Right. That's all it is. Expose a great lie. In other words, wherever you're kidding yourself or not honest with yourself or, spinning your wheels, not wasting your time with the same old, rhetoric going on in your head. The lie, where you kid yourself. Okay. And the other part was what? The second part? A great
Expose
truth.
it,
A
yeah,
great truth.
bring attention to a great truth.
To a great truth. So once you move that stuff off the table, once you see it on the pages and you start, the side effect is it automatically heals itself. Once you have it on the pages, you can't hide from it anymore. There it is, glaring at you. Okay, it's going to get healed. You're going to get right with yourself. You can't help but do it. There it is, for the first time in your life, it's staring back at you without somebody critiquing you. This is you. This is from you to you, so that you can begin to see the truth about what's been going on. And in that, you can't help but bring love to this world, you guys. You're not playing those games anymore. 1 hour on the dot.
1 hour. All right.
Are we on the dot or am I a little off on that? 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. You gave him some extra time.
You guys, we will see you. And this weekend, I'll be reading chapter 6, right? 6,
Yeah.
Chapter 6 of Guided at 1 p.m. Pacific time on these channels.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, this coming Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm going to be reading chapter 6, and I'll be on Facebook timeline, my Facebook page, and on my YouTube channel. So feel free to join us. It takes about a half hour.
They're so good.
It's
like
interesting.
It's like Linda reading you a bedtime story.
Yeah, it's getting more. We're getting into the deeper into the childhood just before everything comes unglued. We're getting close to the unglued part.
Yeah, and people are really liking it. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people are watching.
Yeah, we're probably having what, 300 views?
300 people watching or more.
Yeah. So we're getting,
far.
people are liking them, and hopefully it's helping them. That's the whole point. What other point is there to writing anything but to heal something? You guys, it's healing you first. How do you say that, Ray, about the airplane?
Put your own oxygen mask on first before you try to help somebody else.
Right. That's right.
You know what's a shame is
that's what the writing does.
The guys mentioned that the reasons to write would be to expose a great lie or to draw attention to
a truth,
an important truth.
Right.
But a lot of the people who do that get ostracized by society. They call them conspiracy theorists. They call them
this is nobody's
whistleblowers.
No,
they call
this
them.
is nobody's business but your own.
Right.
Okay, here's how this works, you guys. You start to see it on the pages. You see it in your book. Okay, this is your story. This is what you're telling yourself about where you're off, where you need to get a course correction, where you need to get clear, what you need to heal, how you're doing well in certain places, okay, and all that. This is about you. Once you then have your act together, okay, you're not all over the place anymore. You're just more better balanced, and you're able to be present. That's powerful. You don't sit there telling everybody your opinions about everything. No, don't do that. You did it here. This is safe. Okay. What you do is you feel them out. You just let them talk, let them speak their mind, and then you decide who fits. You don't push your agenda. They do that because they're reckless with their life. They don't even know what it's like to become conscious and find out what's going on within them. They haven't done the work, all right? So you guys do the work, and you're going to be settled inside. You're going to be calm, really calmer than you have ever been. So that when you see all this commotion going on out there, I got to tell you, you're going to be a lot more selective about who you let into your life. And you won't feel the need to be right. You won't feel the need to push your agenda. You won't feel the need, to get them to come your way and believe what you do. No. They're either a fit or they're not. It's clean, you guys. It's so clean. Okay.
All right.
We'll see you guys maybe Saturday, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Night, everybody.
And Thursday, this
And
Thursday,
and Saturday and Tuesday and
this Thursday, I'd ask the Universal Channel Group to join us.
Yep.
All right.
night, everybody.
Good night.